Hey everybody, it's Dr. David with a Berger Bite for you. So, some of our family members caught COVID on our cruise. Now, with the BA5 being the most predominant form of COVID that is now around, and as we've talked about, it is both the most contagious form and has the most immune system evasion properties to it. It does seem as if everybody, if they don't have COVID right now, knows somebody who does. And from what I'm seeing, it does seem as if it's making its way through a large swath of the population. Now, nobody in our household caught it. Three of us did have COVID in the 6 weeks prior to the to COVID, and our daughter did not catch it while on the trip either. But my parents did. Now, um, probably with me, for me personally, with me having had the COVID just 3 weeks before, I actually had tested myself once I got back this week and found that my antibody levels, checking for my SARS semi-quantitative total antibody level, is now greater than 25,000. I am the first person who has recorded this high of an antibody level since we've started testing. Now, LabCorp records up to 25,000, whereas Quest records up to only 2,500. 3 weeks prior to me catching COVID, I was at 7,500. So I've had almost at least a fourfold increase in those antibody levels since I've had it. And I do have the nucleocapsid antibody positive now, which, as we've talked about, is one of the things that can happen, or that should happen when you've had the wild disease. Now, um, going onto the ship, every single person needed to have a negative COVID test within 48 hours of sailing. And also, everybody over 12 was supposed to be vaccinated as well. So this was a highly protected disease cruise ship that we were on. Now, my father started having mild cold symptoms a couple days before we got back. And we immediately tested him for COVID. The rapid test was negative, and he was doing fine. Really didn't get any much sicker. And then, but he was still having cold symptoms when he got home, and so decided to do another swab, and it was pretty positive at that point. He was having some mild cough. He was having a little throat tickle, some congestion, but certainly did not have any major symptoms going on. He did also, as well as did my mom, choose to get vaccinated 2 weeks before the cruise. And I certainly do think that having those antibodies boosted would almost certainly have helped him be able to fight this back. And of course, he did start the immune support protocol that we always talk about as well when he first signs of illness before we knew that it was COVID, which of course we always recommend doing. Now, um, because of that, though he was still testing positive and with the cough, but also with his health condition, did decide to start taking Paxlovid on that day. Has handled it incredibly well. Really, the side effects that people talk about, really, he hasn't seen anything relative to that. And he's doing really fantastic. Cough is getting less and less. Thank God, we're doing well with that. Now, a couple of days later, my mom had the most slightest positive little line on the rapid test. And of course, with her recovering, having recently recovered from her cancer treatments, we weren't going to take any chances. So as soon as she had that positive test, she started the Paxlovid. Although for her, it was just a little bit of cold. And then, but later on in the day, she did have some coughing. And so then we started it. And realistically, by the next day, that cough was way down, the congestion was way down, and she too is doing very well. So for people of their age who have had their health conditions, it really does seem that we have a much better handle on how to prevent serious problems and to treat the disease when it comes about between the various things that I've talked about. Thank goodness, right? Because we know that up until, especially during that first year after we started with COVID through into 2020, we didn't really have these types of approaches. And, I shudder to think what would have happened, although we probably wouldn't have gone on the cruise in the first place without those measures in place as well. But again, I'm very thankful that they are doing well. Of course, we love to get well wishes sent our way. But yeah, everybody's doing really great. If you like this video, please see the description below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel and join us on social media.